Pop quiz. What makes a shareholder at a major game publisher in the West foam at the mouth like a pit bull about to attack a toddler? Simple answer. The money printers known as Genshin Impact, Honkai Star and the upcoming Zenless Zone Zero. All owned by the same developer known as Hoyoverse globally and Mihoyo in China. I mean, they've gotten to a point where they've made more money than the entirety of Sony's PlayStation division in 2022 and have very recently gained the full unconditional support of the Chinese government to continue making whatever the hell they want in terms of media. Oh, and also, this is something that even the most diehard Genshin fans don't know. They have been investing in fusion energy, okay? Fusion energy. Which game developer does that, dude? I don't know. This is the first time I see something like this. It's crazy. But before Genshin Impact, what really put them on the map, especially on the Chinese market, is a game called Honkai Impact 3rd. This was a game made with a very specific vision, targeting a very specific demographic. But that demographic, especially with some individuals in the Chinese community, proved to be way crazier than Mihoyo could have ever anticipated, causing Honkai Impact 3rd to have scandals that did not match the size of the company or the game. I mean, dude, you had a guy pull up with a knife trying to assassinate the CEO at the HQ, man. I made a video about it. The biggest games on the planet don't have to deal with shit like this, okay? And I hope they never have to. But while thankfully today we're not talking about someone almost losing their lives, we're talking about something that contributed towards Mihoyo changing their vision after seeing the kinds of individuals it was attracting. In other words, this is how Mihoyo got bullied into apologizing for even thinking about the possibility of adding a playable male character to Honkai Impact 3rd. Let's check this mess out together. Yeah, you already know the drill, guys. No sponsor for this video either. But hey, if you want to support the channel, feel free to subscribe. And don't forget, VTuber model debut May 4th. I guarantee you'll enjoy your time. Anyway, back to the video. To really understand the roots of this incident, we have to look at some history. Mihoyo itself started off with 3 computer science students banding up together for the love of anime, comics, and games. And it's your typical startup story, but this time instead of setting it up in their garage, they set it up in their university dormitory back in January 2011. They were very quick on their feet because in that same year, they went to an entrepreneurship competition and presented their company vision, which was very precise. They wanted to make a game with sweet, cute, kawaii, pretty girls, as the CEO says it in his speech, that would resonate very strongly with the otaku audience, who in his words have a strong inner need to communicate with girls, but struggle due to huge psychological pressure. So aside from making a fun game, they wanted to also make one that has a huge attachment to their audience. According to the video comments, they ended up winning 3rd place in this competition, going against companies that were in very different fields like medical and even agricultural. Even back then, investors could see potential, and why wouldn't they? Because after this event and after them winning, they went on to make smaller games up until the culmination of this vision came to be on October 14th, 2016, when Honkai Impact 3rd finally came out. One look at the character roster and you understand very quickly why. The only playable characters in this game are female. They all look great, have different personalities, and have a bunch of outfits going back to Daoi's philosophy in the entrepreneurship competition. Look, man, there's even this feature that many people might not know about, which is called touch affection, where you could touch the character in various parts of their body, and depending on where you touch, they'll react differently, okay? A lot of people don't know this, but a number of people who already know about it in the community joke around sometimes and call it the grope simulator, which, let's face it, it practically is. You're meant to touch them every day in the right places to level up your affection meter. But if you touch them in the wrong parts, well, do it enough times, you'll get kicked off the ship midair. Imagine, level 5 affection exists. Captain touches belly. Kiana looks like the child has grown a bit. Just get the hell out of here. So yes, of course, anyone can say this is genius. You're giving otakus the relationship they've always wanted in your game, which will make them spend more money on the character and on the outfits that will release for them. And you know what? For a long time, this worked. Until Mihoyo started to realize something. The players became way too attached to their game. And what made them realize this was the insane scandals that would come out from it. Like how at some point a player saved up a lot of money to get a skin for his favorite character. Then it turned out that for an event, that same character was gonna get a free skin that everyone can claim. That player, feeling betrayed that his wife was gonna get a skin that everyone can claim, he reported Mihoyo to the Chinese Cyberspace Administration. This is the administration that manages everything that happens online in China, and it caused quite a stir. Okay, very quickly they were realizing this whole idea of, hey dude, we're gonna market ourselves to otakus and give them the relationship they've always wanted, wasn't really turning out to be the best idea. And during all this, they just kept bowing down to the craziest people in their community, which just so happened to be in their Chinese community. Because as you can see here, even after the assassination attempt on the CEO, which was because of a music video, by the way, I'm not kidding, they still apologized and gave out rewards to the Chinese players higher than the rest of the world. It's insane. So at that point, they had a choice. Do they commit to being this virtual dating simulator that happens to have a fun game included, or do they steer clear from this insanity and try to do something else? And that's the first time that Dawei's vision that was shown to the world during the entrepreneurship competition 2011 actually started to go through changes. The Valkyrie Touch Affection, otherwise known as the groping simulator, got removed from the game promptly after. It doesn't exist anymore unless you were one of the OG old players. You still have it on some skins. This is probably the worst patch Mihoyo has ever done. How can I harass my Mei with her sexy ass modes and reactions now? I'm uninstalling the game. This meant that they were not going to go the Azur Lane route where you can slap a girl's ass in the menu screen and there'll be a red slap mark on her ass while she's wearing barely any clothing. I can't show this on YouTube, dude. I literally can't. This game, I don't know how it exists. Like, how is it available on mobile devices? If I play this, I'll get banned on YouTube. I'll get suspended. It's insane. Another thing they started doing that wasn't really present in gacha games at the time was do something crazy, which was give characters depth. They gave them character development. They started maturing throughout the storyline, and the storyline itself became tragic, depressing, mature. Slowly but surely, people started looking at Honkai Impact not as a dating simulator, but as this game that's made for people who want an in-depth story with intense character development. I mean, look, they even started investing in things like this, cinematics, that looked like they were made for an anime. Free on their YouTube channel. Honkai Impact 3rd is known for this as well. When you ask a player who plays the game what their favorite part is, they're probably gonna say the cinematics, with some in particular known to incite tears regardless of whether you play the game or not, like Himiko's sacrifice. But that did not mean that the community had fully recovered. No, there were still some crazies, and they weren't gonna leave anytime soon. It all started with a game mode called a Post-Honkai Odyssey. This was a game mode completely independent from the main storyline. It was just a different perspective, kind of like a side game. But there was something very different here. You could only play as 3 characters, and one of them, for the first time ever, was a male character by the name of Adam. He released with the intention of having him be nameless, just main character. But the in-game files revealed that he was named Adam internally, so people just started calling him Adam. Now the problem with Adam was that he was a self-insert, which means he's a character that doesn't talk. He's meant to be kind of like the author. But Honkai Impact 3rd players were already used to being called Captain. They weren't Adam. So of course, some very loud voices, especially in the Chinese community, were not too happy about this. Like, how dare you come in the way of me and my waifus, you son of a bitch. How dare you make an entrance in my game? According to this Reddit thread, here's some crazy things people were saying about Adam. Captain, which is the player, is dead in APHO, which is the alternate game mode. Adam is gonna NTR us. But there were players that did want a male character. There were some very well-written and good-looking male characters, even to this day in Honkai Impact 3rd, that people wanted to play. But even those people couldn't like Adam because he had 0 depth. He had no personality. The guy just didn't talk. He was just there. He was a self-insert. And it was simply too hard to like him. So this caused both people who didn't want a male character to hate him, and people who did want a male character to hate him as well. This was a huge loss for Mihoyo. All you gotta do is look at this Reddit thread asking why there aren't any male characters in Honkai Impact 3rd. Someone says, unsurprisingly, I mean, China reacted pretty badly when Adam was added. They still don't like him. He is extremely unpopular. What did he do? Exist. Can someone actually answer the question? No, that's genuinely it. He's hated by the Chinese community because he exists. But still, Mihoyo was not gonna give up. They wanted to add more depth to the story, and they thought that maybe people would understand if it was a well-written character. So they kept toying with the idea. Now, it's the industry standard in gacha games to send surveys to players to see how they're enjoying the game, the new updates, what they would want to change, and what other games they love playing in their free time in comparison. A survey like this was sent out to Honkai Impact 3rd players in 2022, and there was one question in there that absolutely destroyed the internet. The question was simple. Would you be open to having male playable characters in Honkai Impact 3rd? That's it. That's the only thing they asked in a survey, okay? They had previously toyed with the idea of having male characters in an April Fool's gender bend joke in 2018, right? This wasn't the first time the idea has been floated around. But guys, after seeing that question in this survey, okay, the Chinese internet erupted in flames. Like, how dare you even propose the idea of having male characters in my waifu game? I will delete my entire account. I'll stop spending any penny. I'm done. I'm done. It got so crazy to the point where not even a week after the survey, Mihoyo came out and issued an apology. This was a question in a survey. This was an apology with them clarifying that, hey, guys, listen. We're never going to add male characters in the game. I promise. This was only us stating that it would be maybe cool to have a male character join Adam in APHO. Not in the main game. We promise, dude. You'll always be the captain with a harem of pretty women, dude. There will never be a male character that will put that under threat. We promise, dude. And of course, they also gave them compensation. We're talking about Chinese players here, not global. Because bear in mind, a different survey link is sent to Chinese players as opposed to global players. So, hey, we can safely say they probably didn't even look at the global survey, okay? They probably don't even know it exists at this point. They saw the Chinese survey and they were like, guys, we are so sorry. And this was in 2022. Bear in mind, by then, they made billions off of Genshin Impact. They're already a global brand, but still, their Honkai Impact 3rd audience, especially in China, is still so very important to them. So they apologized, bent the knee, and absolutely kissed their feet. But this wasn't enough to deter them from achieving their dream of adding hot male characters and make them playable. So what did they do? They just ended up releasing a completely new game called Honkai Star, set in another dimension in the Honkai universe. And in this game, you have a whole lot of male characters that both look good and are well written. Now that game came out in 2023 and people were worried before it came out because of this apology. People were worried that there were going to be male playable characters and that the community was going to make a fit about it. But you know what? It actually worked! And it worked really well. Mihoyo had already proven to us that they can make good male characters in Genshin Impact, that their games don't have to just be dating simulators with women. And I hope I'm not jinxing it by saying this, but Star Rail has so far avoided any sort of controversy, especially at Honkai Impact 3rd's scale of insanity. I guess the moral of the story here is that, yes, the Honkai Impact 3rd community, especially in China, is absolutely insane, okay? Absolutely crazy. The stories from that game are absolutely insane. But if we can learn from anything that Mihoyo has done over the years, it's this. It's okay to start off with a very strong vision, but then evolve it as time goes on. In fact, you may find that it ends up being way more beneficial to you and the people around you. And that's exactly what Dawe and the higher-ups at Mihoyo figured out, that they can still cater to the otaku demographic without inciting riots on a global scale. And hell, now with Zenless Zone Zero, they're also catering to the furry community. I mean, look at this guy, dude. They know what they're doing. They studied this, okay? They're catering to everyone at this point. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Let's pray together for the Honkai Impact 3rd devs and their trauma, and I'll see you in the next video. I love you so much. Mwah.